Meghan Markle has revealed she had a huge medical scare after giving birth as the first episode of her new podcast Confessions of a Female Founder came out today. The Duchess of Sussex announced the arrival of the new Lemonada media show by posting a series of throwback photos on Instagram of her selling cookies as a child. In the first episode, Meghan speaks with her friend, the entrepreneur Whitney Wolfe, who founded the female-focused dating app Bumble and co-founded Tinder. And they discussed how both women had suffered from postpartum preeclampsia, a condition related to high blood pressure and excess protein in urine in the days or weeks after giving birth, which Wolfe described as life or death, truly. It was released just hours after Meghan's husband Prince Harry landed in the UK, and King Charles Roman III jetted off to Italy with Queen Camilla for a 4-day state visit. The Duke of Sussex then arrived at the High Court this morning for an appeal against a ruling on whether he is entitled to armed bodyguards paid for by the taxpayer. In the podcast interview recorded in February, Meghan said to Wolfe, "We both had very similar experiences, though we didn't know each other at the time with postpartum, and we both had preeclampsia." Postpartum preeclampsia. Meghan did not reveal whether she suffered the condition after the birth of her son Prince Archie, 5, or her daughter Princess Lilibet, 3. Wolfe has 2 sons. The Duchess added, "It's so rare and so scary. And you're still trying to juggle all of these things, and the world doesn't know what's happening quietly. And in the quiet, you're still trying to show up for people, mostly for your children, but those things are huge medical scares." Wolfe added, "I mean life or death, truly." Wolfe spoke about Meghan and Harry introducing their newborn son Archie to the world in a photo call at St. George's Hall in Windsor Castle in May 2019, 2 days after his birth. She told the Duchess, "I mean, I'll never forget the image of you after you delivered Archie, and the whole world was waiting for his debut. I was either just becoming or about to become a new mom, and I was like, oh my God, how is this woman doing this? How is this woman putting on heels and going and debuting a child in this, beautiful outfit in front of the entire world?" Wolfe added, "I could barely face a doorbell delivery for takeout food in a robe," to which Meghan laughed. Meghan also called Wolfe a wildly successful female entrepreneur and the kind of friend who just always seems to know the exact right thing to say when I need perspective. Wolfe spoke about Meghan's brutalizing time in the public eye, telling her, "I do think there is so much to be said for your ability to exist, even in the presence of that. It takes a very strong cookie. When I was going through the media storm and being called this and that at Tinder, I didn't leave my house for like a month and a half." Meghan told Wolfe about being absolutely consumed with packaging, adding boxes. "It's all I could think about. I would sit there doing the unboxing in my head. Is there tissue paper? What about the packing peanuts, but they're biodegradable? Where does the sticker go, and what size the box is going to be?" She also made reference to a porch pirate, a term for someone who steals packages left on porches or doorsteps after delivery. Meghan said, "Someone says, but you don't want to brand the outside of the box because of porch pirates. Had never heard that before. What's a porch pirate?" And Wolfe told her, "I think you have to really take a deep breath and say, you know what, how big of a deal is this? If this is not going to be a defining issue in your business, your life, your family in 5 years, you'll be fine." They also talked about how having children had changed their perspectives on life, with Wolfe telling Meghan, "I think being a mother, as you know, nothing comes before that. Their well-being is our well-being. And so I think it forces you to prioritize in ways that, for me, I never did before." Meghan also talked about balancing home and work life, and explained how her daughter Lilibet would sometimes come into her office at their property in Montecito, California, following a nap. She told Wolfe, "We became moms in the pandemic, post-pandemic culture, where there is so much working from home. I don't leave the house to go to an office. My office is here. Lily still naps. She gets picked up early and she naps. She only has a half day in preschool. If she wakes up and wants to find me, she knows where to find me, even if my door is closed to the office. She'll be sitting there on my lap during one of these meetings with a grid of all the executives. I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't want to miss those moments. I don't want to miss pickup if I don't have to. I don't want to miss drop-off." The Duchess continued, "What I do love the most about having young kids, in this chapter while I'm building my business, is the perspective that it brings because you're building something while your child's going through potty training. And both are just as important. It's like, great, okay, where's the Cheerios? Well done. And then you're championing your team 10 minutes later about something that is really high value for the world. In your own world, that's super high value. And in Lilibet's world, that's super high value. Wolf Herd added, technology is a beautiful tool for parents because you can dial in and be present and do a great job on the call while you sit in the carpool line outside school. Like, why do I need to be at a desk? I have the same mental opinion in a carpool line. Wolf Herd also described Meghan as such an amazing hostess, adding, when you go to your home, you're like, engulfed in love and coziness, just carry you through. And the rest writes itself. The series is the latest in the former Suits actress's flurry of output after her much-criticized Netflix lifestyle series with Love, Meghan and her new brand as ever. Meghan also released a series of throwback photos to accompany the podcast release, saying, being an entrepreneur can start young. By the way, all these years later, and I'm still selling cookies. Tune in for the premiere episode of Confessions of a Female Founder featuring my dear friend at Whitney, now streaming wherever you get your podcasts, at Lemonade Media. The pictures showed her selling cookies while wearing a brown Girl Scouts uniform, a nod to her new lifestyle brand as ever and its shortbread butter cookies. The Duchess also told the New York Times in an email, I hope Confessions of a Female Founder reminds listeners they're not alone. These are honest conversations with women who have built from the ground up, faced challenges, and kept going. The newspaper reported that Meghan and Wolf Herd discussed navigating media scrutiny, shaping a brand, spreading kindness, embracing self-love, prioritizing family, and finding strategies to tackle it all. Both the New York Times and People had advance access to the podcast before it was released on Lemonade Media and other platforms such as Spotify and Apple. A trailer for the show was released on March 25, with Meghan promising girl talk and advice on how to create billion-dollar businesses. Meghan told one guest to think of the experience as being in a dolphin tank rather than a shark tank, asked another whether she is single now, talks about the laser focus needed in business, and finished her voiceover with, let's do this, ladies. The 8-part podcast series is also expected to follow the Duchess's work on her as Ever brand, which has now begun selling jam, herbal teas, flour sprinkles, and ready-made crepe mix. The new show is part of a deal signed in February last year with Lemonade Media, which follows her previous series Archetypes, which aired on Spotify in 2022. That show about female stereotypes ran for just one series and was part of the Sussex's previous £20 million deal with Spotify, which ended the year after.